Hello everyone, I'm Lil Goose. I wanted to create a video to talk about how I deal with a particular issue in one of my tracks. The issue is in the chicane, specifically in the second apex. If you try to take the chicane as fast as possible, you end up way outside and end up hitting this hay bale. These hay bales are here because of how we enforce track limits when making these kinds of tracks in GTA 5. The track creator in GTA 5 works on a checkpoint-based system. These checkpoints have spherical hitboxes. The sizes of these hitboxes are fixed, which can make it difficult to enforce track limits with a high level of precision using checkpoints alone. This is where props come in. If these hay bales were not here, drivers would not be forced or even incentivized to control their speed through this section. They would simply cut off the areas that overlap between the checkpoint and outside the rumble strips. Creators have used the hay bale round prop in the barriers category for many years now because of its favorable hitbox. You aren't likely to get stuck on this if you run into it. While it's easy to tell drivers just to control their speed through this section, just one driver that hits the second hay bale can cause a collision that affects the rest of the field. It's important to make sure, especially in high-level Grand Prix tracks, that one driver's mistake affects the rest of the race as little as possible. That is why, despite this being a short, silly, mainly randoms transform track, that we fix this problem. One option is to get rid of this hay bale entirely. However, you still have this wall on the other side of the corner that can cause problems for people cutting this corner too tight. If this prop were no longer here, people would be incentivized to cut this corner a little more, which can put them right in the line of this wall. Another solution is to place a wall like this up against the existing wall and the apex prop. However, this makes the apex less visible, and it shoots drivers directly across the track if they were to ride it, which does not bode well for the other drivers trying to take this line. On another part of the track, I've used these acute concrete barriers mainly as a deterrent. These props won't stop drivers in their tracks, but they disincentivize drivers from taking too tight a line, because driving over these will send you straight into the cliff. Using one of these props here wouldn't be preferable either, just because you're going at too fast a speed and you will be sent into this wall if you go too fast. Maybe if there was a runoff instead of a wall, I would consider it. This prop would also be repeatable at the first corner of the apex, which would help fit with the theme of the track. This is something that I believe the wall solution couldn't do as well. My preferable solution would be to put a wall up against this rumble strip. Maybe something like the Kronos Arch in Stunt Signs could work. Placing the wall like this puts a hard limit on the track while also leaving the second apex prop more visible. Since one wall doesn't cover the entirety of the outside corner, I have to double up for a few reasons. One is to make sure that the wall is visible going into the chicane. Two is because of this ramp bit on the edge of the wall. Having only one wall would send you off the track if you took a bad line. This is how the wall looks in a finished state. Personally, I don't think it looks that bad. I also decided to place the flat part of the wall a little bit in front of the tilted part of the wall so that you don't get a bad hitbox when driving up against it. And that's all I really wanted to cover today. If any of the top official race crew members are watching, I want to let you know that Torque New Creations playlist will be starting on January 11th, 1 p.m. Eastern Time, and will continue every Sunday. Thanks for watching. Happy creating, happy racing, and happy holidays. We'll see you next time.